like feel good doing that. Robots don't feel good or bad. When a wolf has incisors, larger, he can tear off bigger pieces of meat. If he swallows it faster, he can survive starvation. So animals do not chew their food. They rip off the meat and swallow it whole, just as it is. I don't know if you noticed that. That animal will survive in scarcity. The animal that tears the meat off and chews on it won't be of enough food. So the animals tear it apart fast. And they don't outgrow that. The animals born with the larger fangs survive. Those with shorter fangs don't get a bigger piece of the meat. Animal life has no purpose, is what I'm trying to say. There's no purpose to eyes, ears, teeth, or anything. If you're born with things that work under those conditions, you survive. If you're born, say, with a, let's say, a more rational mind, and you're rational about everything, you can't live. You might leave a little food for your young. If a bird doesn't feed its young, let's say it just eats the food, that species is gone. A bird that doesn't take care of its young, birds are not born to take care of their young. They say they instinctively take care of their young. The birds that don't feed their young are dead. They're gone. It's very hard to accept that humans are machines. They're responding organisms. Very difficult. And people that used to attend my seminars for years would write songs about a responding organism, a bundle of tropisms, you know, and they couldn't get along with normal people. You must understand that. That since I've been attending your sessions, I'm losing my friends. I said, you're not losing your friends. You're losing people that are hard-headed, hardwired. But you'll have to change people to get along with them. I'm saying that all things are shoved by something else. There's nothing, although we can't see the wire up our ass connected to the sun, we depend on the sun, the radiant energy of the sun. You may not see the forces that move you. Nutrition, different food combinations, strengthen your fingernails, lack of it makes them soft and they crack. You don't know how your body operates, but if you study nutrition and physical degeneration, you know more about the body. You never know everything. The word everything is a stupid word. It implies that there is such a thing as everything. When you get into the mechanistic point of view, all that the mechanist says is that all things are shoved by other things. There's no prime source of that movement. In other words, if this begins to roll, it means the table is not level.
Right.
Nothing moves of itself. Plants do not grow. They depend on sunlight, water, moisture, soil, temperature, many different things. So there's no prime mover. When I say, how did the universe begin? That's a stupid question. It assumes a beginning. A seed, they say, is the beginning of a plant. How do you know it's not the end product? Why do you call it the beginning? Do you understand what I'm saying? Man projects like hell, including scientists. There's no good, no bad, no smart people, no dumb people. There are people that have less tools than you do. You might have better tools. If a girl falls in love with a taller guy than you, because she likes tall people, and you get mad at her, you don't understand the effects of the environment. When you understand, you'll never dislike anybody or hate them. You'll understand where they're coming from. And that will stop a lot of crime, that's what I mean by we're not educated. I hope you know what I mean now. We're not given that. Well, I never heard of Fresco. He has no PhD. He never graduated junior grade school. Therefore, fuck Fresco. You're a follower of some fucking fraudulent guy. That's what they'll tell you if you talk to normal people. But if you understand what I'm saying, you'll only understand those things that have parallel, that you have experience with. I can't talk to anybody. They would hate me, you know what I mean? And if I talk to scientists, they'd say, well, where the hell do you get your ideas from? You know, I got mine by hard work. So did I get it. I worked very hard, questioning everything, trying to. There are some of us that can accept a wider range of behavior due to background. If you don't have this background, if you've never been here, you'll retain what you've been given. But from now on, you're poisoned. You can't go back to the old way of thinking. You'll never be able to go back. There are no roads to yesterday. There are no roads to yesterday.
Were you once Christian?
Yes, I was one believer in God. Let's say that. I believe there's somebody that made the world, because that's what they told me.
What made you change your mind?
A motion picture called The Ten Commandments. You ever hear of it?
Yeah.
By Cecil B. DeMille.
I saw it.
With the old one, the original. And I came home and I said to my older brother, I don't understand the Egyptians. Didn't they believe in the same God we believe in? He said, no, maybe they were atheists. My brother was a little older. And I said, what's an atheist? Well, atheists believe that animals evolved. The giraffe ate things and made a longer neck, and animals went through evolution. He knew a little bit about evolution. And from my background at that time, that made more sense. I had enough of background. I said, gee, maybe there isn't a God. And I began to talk to people. They said, you're nuts. There's got to be a God. And then I read books on atheism a little bit, and it made more sense than God making a man and a woman out of clay, earth, and he turned them loose in the Garden of Eden. That would sound more like a fairy tale. I had enough of a background to make it. If I didn't, I would have rejected it. When the minister said it rains to make the plants grow, I said, why does it rain at sea? I really wanted to know. I was not an atheist. So he said, hold down your hands, and he beat me. And I began to doubt the wisdom of that guy. Then he said, God works in strange ways. After we die, we'll know why certain things happen. Today you won't understand it. So I bought the package. And then I said, why does a flood drown children? They've had no experience. And he said, because the Lord works in strange ways. We may not know that, but there's a reason for everything. And then he gave me some reasons. He did. He says, a man he met went blind due to cataracts. And the blind man said, since I was blind, I realized a lot of things that I didn't appreciate in the past. So he says, the purpose of that guy going blind was to give him the realization of how wonderful it is to have sight, and then how wonderful it is to have senses.
Right.
So there's a reason for everything, and that stalled my ability to think things out. You know, it was a good example. And then so going on, I didn't find blind men any particularly smarter than anyone else. Right. This particular blind man that he quoted, yes, it did. But there are many people that have a negative experience and makes them more negative.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's very hard to be objective. And I found conflict in the early stages of beginning to question things. I found, well, it's better that I go to church once a month, you know, not give it up entirely. So I said, well, God would know I was false then I didn't have to go once a month. Because I says, I can't put it over on God. So then I learned more about evolution and learned more about God sacrificing his son. And if he knows everything, he would know that his son would be crucified. Then it didn't make sense. I began to question that whole pattern. It went in circles, you know what I mean? And I pulled out. But if I didn't question the patterns, I don't think I could make it. And if I wasn't shoved further enough along, I wouldn't have questioned anything. So here you're being shoved, and from now on, you will question more things, question more things. What are they fighting for? If the war sells munitions, submarines, Yet you take the lives of American soldiers and put them up to defend the United States. Are they defending the United States, or are they defending the social institutions, the war factories, the war industries? Do you see what I mean? So merely marching in front of the stock market or the stock exchange is only part of this system. The public pays taxes. They support the police, the army, the war weapons, everything. The very rich pay very little taxes, yet they control the police, and they control the National Guard, and they control the army. It's the public that pays the police a salary. They don't know who the hell they're serving. When they serve Wall Street, that means the money people really control the country, not the public. And 80% of the people say they're not satisfied with the government's decisions. So if you walk in front of the stock exchange and you say that these people are corrupt, the whole system is corrupt. You have to point out these things. They want to cut Medicare for the poor. What do you suggest as an alternative? Let them die? Bring that up. What do you suggest? The guy that says, well, we don't want to give people free medical care. What do you want them to do, die? Yes or no? Well, they can't answer that. So pin them down. When they say, we love this country, our boys are out there fighting, giving up their lives for the country, don't you think we ought to take the profit out of war also? Just like the guys don't make money fighting over there, they get a minimum wage fighting. And then when you figure out the cost of war, all the aircraft carriers, all the airplanes, all the cities destroyed, and all the nations wiped out, it's cheaper to take that money and build new cities all over the world, helping people to understand the benefits of technology and knowledge. The whole country is involved in exploitation. If you're a dentist, you make money on me if I need a root canal. If you dent your automobile, somebody makes money straightening out the fenders. So everything is profitable, and we want that change. We want the world to concern itself with people and taking care of the environment. It's the greatest gift we have. The trees, the topsoil, the oceans. Where ships, luxury liners, empty their bills into the ocean. That means the oil and all this stuff, they pump it in the ocean. The oceans are the toilet of the world. All big hotels pump their fecal matter out into the oceans. So what do you expect from that? Do you expect the dolphins to live on healthy lives? They can't. And if you use genetic manipulation without a long-term study of the effects of it, you're going to hurt people. It's the system, not Wall Street. The system produces all that. Therefore, we offer an alternative system, and this is what it is. To declare the earth the common heritage of all the world's people. And for those of you that are religious, God didn't make the earth for the Greeks, or the Polacks, or the Jews, or the French. He made it for all the people who will use religion. Use it that way. You can find that in the Bible. Love your enemy, it says. It says, thou shalt not kill, in all Bibles. And yet people don't seem to follow that. So apparently they don't understand what they're reading. And they believe in honesty and good and fair play. Where did we get this land? We stole it from the Indians. And women who disagreed were burned as witches in Salem, Massachusetts. And the Ku Klux Klan in America had 3 million members. If you don't bring that up, that's the problem. The problem is that freedom and individual opinions can become dangerous. I asked many people years ago whether they thought man will ever get to the moon. They said, not in 1,000 years. I said, you know anything about rockets? No. You know anything about space travel? No. Well, how do you formulate that? How come we give everybody a right to their own opinion? Why don't you give them access to information? And so essentially, you have to educate people. Educate people. It seems that